start the show.
Hey, happy hump day.
Hey,
horses.
I think my mom said that
I was going to say,
1,000 times.
total parent joke.
Hope your Wednesday's treating you guys all right. Thanks for stopping by the Today in AZ After Show. That's Crystal. I'm Paul.
Hey.
That's Rachel. That's Vanessa. One of these times I'm going to get the names wrong, and you guys are going to look at me like, you've worked here for how long? This morning we're tackling a topic that we dealt with on Today in AZ, but we want to do it a little differently on this show. So let's set the table. During the show this morning, we asked if there should be an age cap on people running for president.
Okay.
We asked because former President Jimmy Carter says, yes, that's the case. He says he wouldn't run for another term even if he could because there's no way he could handle the strain of the office at his age. That said, a lot of the Democratic frontrunners, Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, over the age of 70 years old. Donald Trump is 73 and would be pursuing his new term at the age of 74.
Yes.
That's up there. And we want to know if the most powerful position in the Western world should be reserved for somebody whose, let's be honest, mental faculties are declining a little bit. We had a great discussion about this on the show this morning, but I don't really want to bring politics into the after show, so let's frame it like this. Tell us about the active seniors in your life. Do you have a grandma who's still out there killing it? Are you yourself a senior who is extremely active? Tell us some fun stories about the active seniors in your world, and we'll do the same here on the other side of the lens.
Well, I think it was crazy with some of the responses that we had earlier this morning that people were like, oh, once they're 60, they're gone, they're over. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what?
A lot of people said 65, which is like the retirement age. But what I will say about that is like, one of the big issues we have in this country is that because the people are living longer, it's a great issue. Retirement is being pushed back. So even though they're collecting their retirement benefits, they're still working.
Yeah.
Because they're paying for life now, living well into the 80s and 90s, which is awesome. But retiring at 65 is kind of like an old
For our generation,
thought.
retiring at all, probably. Like
Yeah.
I've kind of accepted the fact that unless I win the lottery at some point, I'm probably never going to be able to hang it up.
But I think it keeps you young. I'll tell you what. So my mom is one of the only ones of her friends. I will say her age because she's not watching. So my mom is in her early 70s.
Okay.
She tells my children she's in her 50s. Which is awkward sometimes. And they're like, well, so how old was Granddad when they got married? She must have been 2. I'm like, well, we're Indians, and maybe it was like a promise thing. You just get into all these other discussions. Point being, my mom still works in real estate. My dad worked until literally a few months before he got sick. But he was practicing medicine very actively. My mom was in real estate. She does contract negotiation. Let me tell you, my mom is a shark.
Yeah.
You want her at the table for you, right? But it keeps her sharp.
Yeah.
And she is like a young spirit. However, we have other family members who are the same age, and they look and feel like they're 15 years older.
Yeah, so it depends
it's
on
all
the person.
state of mind.
Yeah, that's true. My mom wakes up every morning. She watches us, but she wakes up to go work out every single morning, Monday through Friday.
That's huge.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't. Like, they're like, wow, I can't believe that. And she's in her early 60s.
And she's adorable.
Thank
She
you. She's so
honestly,
cute.
and I'm not trying to grease her wheels because Belinda might be watching actually, but she doesn't look like she's even
No,
close
not
to
at
that
all.
age.
No, not
She looks
at
like she
all.
could be your older sister.
Yeah.
We get that a lot
really
when we're
does.
walking around. They're like, is that your mom? I'm
Yeah.
like, yes, it is.
I love that. I think it's so awesome. Your
But
mom
I-
is like
yeah.
sprightly
'Cause she's,
and
like,
she's
she has a
full
lot of
energy.
energy.
Yeah.
And she works out every morning. I think that has a lot to do with it. She's very
Totally.
active.
Well, how
you
many
know?
times, I mean, like, for those of you who watch the show often, you know I was a former sports guy, so I know a lot about that universe. And there are so many examples of, like, older coaches. Joe Paterno is the chief one, who coached well into his, I believe, his 80s. And then once he stopped coaching, unfortunately, as a result of that scandal at Penn State, he died shortly thereafter. And, like, everyone predicted it. It was like, as soon as you take away the things that keep you mentally active, the body comes with it, and it's just it's one of those things. And I'm sure you guys could think of other examples of that too, where you have someone that is active and working, and then they finally step away, and then
They say
shortly
their decline
thereafter
goes down
The
so
decline
quickly,
begins.
but we have a lot of my parents' friends who still do, like, they're active, they swim, they do different things, they do Sudoku, just because you got to kind of keep your brain activated. Being with grandchildren a lot, they say, thank God for us, that it keeps you more active. I'm like, don't you want to take them this weekend? Never mind.
Keep you busy.
Whatever
What about
it
you, Crystal?
takes.
Any active senior stories?
One of the first people I was thinking of, only because something I learned while we were doing the story, was why he thinks his spirit has stayed so young and his body has stayed so young. I was interviewing a man by the name of Terry out in Quartzsite. He actually goes out and is one with the dirt, with the ground almost every day. He loves searching for fulgurites, which are lightning fossils, and meteorites and all these things. So his hands are always in the dirt.
Yeah.
And he said that, and I've seen this before, like a study says, if you really get your hands in the ground, your feet or something, it helps your body just stay young. And he's, a senior. I won't give away his age. But I mean, he was just hiking along. I'm like, I want to be as active and in good health as him when I'm his age.
I mean, you see those guys on
Inspiring.
Piastola too. I mean, there are some legitimate senior
Oh my
citizens.
gosh, that are running.
Killing it.
We get laughed. We always laugh because there's the lady. It's the little tiny lady that weighs like 80 pounds wet, right? And she's hiking in her Tevas and a tank top and has one bottle of water. And I'm like, this lady has lapped us 4 times, and we're like barely getting up like the little part of the beginning. So I'm like, more power to ya.
Yeah.
Remember the lady that was rescued that was spun 170 times?
Oh,
Remember
yes.
that?
Right.
And people were like, she's too old. She has no business up there. Apparently, she and her husband do this really regularly. It was just the one day she happened to sprain her ankle or misstep.
We had a story last year. You probably weren't here for this, but there was an older guy. Help me out with this, ladies, who fell down a well. He was, I believe, in his 70s, and he fought off 10 rattlesnakes and was covered in bites and had broken both of his legs and was had every reason just to mail it in and die down there. And instead, he was trapped in this well and was killing snakes and eating their flesh to stay alive.
Yeah.
And it was what a savage senior citizen. This person's down there this isn't going to claim me. I lived this long. That was a wild story. We were like, whoa, you talk about the will to live in someone.
I do love it. Oh my gosh. And we used to cover President Bush 41 a lot in Texas. And so we would see a lot of his skydiving that he would do on his, he would do it every 5 years after his retirement. But his last skydive, he was 85.
Wow.
And still wheelchair bound. But he's like, I'm going tandem, baby. Let's do this thing. And he would do it. And I just love that spirit.
I wanted to get to some of your comments here. A lot of you weighing in on the presidential side of things. Lori says nobody over 70. Benjamin does want an age cap because he wants people to live to see the results of their actions. A lot of you saying yes, but for all elected offices, not just for president.
Right,
things
a lot
like
of
that.
saying that.
If you're going to do it across the board, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's
I like
see.
that Dee says, to keep in mind, dementia is a thing that also affects younger people. It's tragic when you see it happen, but definitely it's not like we're just saying people are going to get older and they automatically get dementia. Sometimes they're sharper than we are after we have
For
kids
sure.
and we're sleep deprived. So yeah, I totally get that.
Diana, who's a top fan of the show, says my grandma was 101 years old. Her mind was so sharp, and she lived tending her garden. She was out there just doing it.
Hands in
so
the
much.
ground.
Yeah.
I love that.
Hands in the soil.
My grandfather worked up until 2 months before he passed, says Sherry. He was a month away from
Wow.
105.
Whoa!
That is
wild.
Insane.
Yeah.
I think it's so good. There's no question to me. I think that if you're in a job where you hate it and you're miserable every day going in, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But you do find when people are passionate about something and they are there work. And part of it, I think, is also being part of that process of getting up, waking up, having somewhere to go, putting on real clothes that have zippers and buttons. Because I will tell you, my brief retirement, when I was it's a weird thing when you are not doing what you love every day.
Yeah.
And I feel a lot of that keeps you stimulated.
Yeah.
For sure.
But even what about when they are the president? When you talked about it earlier, that it ages them during their
Oh my gosh, it really
term.
when you see those before and after
And
pictures
we're
of
also
presidents.
not talking about
oh my gosh.
receptionist at the local law office either. We're
right.
talking about someone who has the nuke codes.
Yes.
We're talking about someone whose mental acuity is extremely important to national security. And so I think in the presidential, there's a different set of standards. That said, I think that I agree with Peggy, who just commented a second ago and says everyone is so different. We kind of said this on the show. Some 35-year-olds aren't sharp enough to be president.
True.
Some 80-year-olds are still sharp enough to do so. A couple of the commenters have brought dementia into this. I hope we didn't say anything that rubbed you the wrong way. That wasn't intended to be a part of the discussion. I understand that dementia affects people of different age groups. It's not just senior citizens. I think we're just talking in terms of general mental sharpness.
Yes.
There are a lot of men my age who are probably too far declined already, who have kind of, they're on the other side of that hill. They're coasting toward the end at this point, who I would not want to be president, let alone doing something active or responsible in which, my safety is a part of the decision.
Yeah.
It's more just I think that, that I go back to the biological age versus your chronological age. It's like having that physical, mental acuity to be able to respond to the situations that they're put into that we could not even imagine. And I think that's what it comes down to is, are you able to handle the stress? Because it's, I mean, like we've said, when you see the before and after pictures after a two-term
It takes
president,
a toll on them.
it takes a physical,
Yes.
outward toll. I can only imagine the inward toll. Yeah.
All right, guys, if you've got a story about an active senior and you're just joining the show, we'd love for you to share it with us in the comments. We'll read it in just a few minutes. Let's take a quick break from this, though, and get to our ICYMI. In case you missed Today in AZ this morning, you missed this.
Also, in other news, what would you do for a little more than $1,000? Well, one website wants to pay someone $1,300 to watch 13 Stephen King movies by Halloween. How easy is that? Well, USDish.com is doing it to promote Dr. Sleep, which is a sequel to The Shining. Oh my gosh, I'm so going to see that. But here's the deal. You can't just pretend like you're watching all 13 scary movies. The site wants to ask you things like which ones you like the most and how fast your heart was racing during each creepy scene. So they're doing some research here. We have a link if you want to apply. It's on our website. Just search Stephen King.
So what, $100 a movie?
I know, that's easy. His movies are really awesome. So, we've gotten about 500 comments on this story on our 12 News Facebook page, and we have a few of them for you here.
I love this one.
They're funny. I'll watch anything for $1,300. Your dog's done. Paint dry, bring it. Will this water boil? I'll let you know the exact second I see bubbling.
Brandon's
Thanks,
on it for
Brandon.
$1,300.
That was great.
It was like we found the tipping point where people were like, this is a nice little boost in my wallet. I'll do anything.
1,300?
Name it.
Wait, can you name all 13 movies?
No. Oh my gosh.
Well, no, because some of them, I believe, are made for TV movies that didn't have actual theatrical releases.
See, I thought they were talking like real movies.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know, though.
Shortly thereafter, you had asked me which Stephen King movie was my favorite, and I said The Langoliers. I'm not sure The Langoliers ever actually had a theatrical release, but it was like a made-for-TV movie. I remember it aired in like 3 installments on ABC back when I was a kid and watched it with my mom and was like enraptured by the whole thing. And then I saw it again later in life, and it was still just as good.
I didn't realize you mentioned Pet Sematary was a Stephen King movie.
Oh my
I
gosh,
was so scared of that movie when I was growing up.
mine was Cujo's. Cujo
Cujo
scared
was
the bejesus out of me. That dog was awful.
I would
so
not
terrible.
do this. That's not enough money.
No.
I would have nightmares forever.
I was scared of cats forever after watching Pet Sematary. I was like, what the heck?
That's better
I
than
don't
being
like
scared
scary.
Scared of cats.
after watching Cats the musical. That would be a different
Oh,
set of nightmares. That is creepy in its own right.
Just me doing it is That's enough.
I'm not a scary movie guy, but I think if you give me $100 to do anything, $1,300 for the total. I mean, like, that's a decent enough amount of money, you catch up on some credit card debt, buy yourself a nice dinner.
There are some scary movies that are coming out today that, oh my gosh, they've gone to another level of scary.
What was the one that we were getting our old Steadicam guy to watch? Michael. There was one movie that just came out relatively recently, a few months ago, that was like billed as like the scariest movie that's come out in like the last 10
I don't
years.
remember the title.
I got to do some Googling.
Oh my gosh.
Is that one where you had to be silent or something?
No, that wasn't it. Oh, geez, what was it? Oh, this is going to bother the heck out of me.
I can't think of it.
We had another good comment about the senior discussion. If you want to get to that while
Kathy's?
I Google this. Yeah.
It says, my grandmother never knew what a headache was. She lived to be 100 and a half and had a sharp mind. Of course, she always wanted her homemade beans every day.
Yeah, I love those stories.
Yeah,
Oh my
I do
gosh.
too. My grandmother still salsas.
Does she?
Yes, and she's
Danny.
great.
Like salsa or salsa?
She does both, actually. She makes salsa.
And she does a little salsa.
Yeah, and salsa. And she's out there, and I'm like, Nana, like, you can move, girl.
Just go in circles around the senior gentleman, I bet. Like, you just stand here and I'll dance around you.
She's so cute.
So cute, though.
Yeah.
And I do think a lot of it is a mindset,
It
you
is.
know? 'Cause,
Yeah.
I feel like a mindset has a lot to do with keeping yourself young. At least that's what I notice when I meet some older people that are spry.
This is driving me crazy. I can't find it. Somebody help me out with this thing.
It's a scary movie.
Hereditary.
Is that what it was?
Hereditary.
That's too scary.
We didn't
Yep.
watch it, right?
No, I'm told don't watch it. Like, if you're even on the fence about scary movies, do not trifle with Hereditary.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Not gonna do it. I read the Wikipedia page is scary enough.
Yeah,
But if you can read a
I feel
Wikipedia
like they're
page and
just
get a feel for the
Yeah,
story.
it's scary.
I never saw Get Out. I heard that was too scary. I'm too scared to see that.
Yeah.
I think I might have seen that one. What
And
was
the one
new
behind
It
Us.
movie? The remake
It
of
too,
the
or
new
whatever,
It.
The new It.
The new, all of them. They
new
said
It.
they're just like, even the new ones are
Horrible.
scary. I mean,
don't do
clowns are
clowns.
scary.
I don't do clowns.
She says.
I don't know.
And I don't
never-
lose scary children.
I stay far, far away from any type of horror, scary films.
Yeah.
I basically go to the movies and watch Disney movies.
You do watch a lot of that.
I
I
do.
know.
Comedy.
Life is scary enough as it is. Quite
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want some,
Uplifting.
Yeah.
I'm that person after watching a scary movie, like I'm like opening all the doors, like,
Yes,
and like
checking
turning on
under
the
the bed.
lights, and then like covering my head with the blankets when I go to bed.
No.
I'm like, oh, did I hear a noise? I get scared. So I don't even know why.
That's what I get after watching a Lifetime movie.
That too. Those are scary. God,
That's as
like,
scary as I go. Those are intense.
about dating and nannies.
Oh, that's the thing.
and
Come in with the
Yeah,
kinds of
crazy
everything's
stuff.
gonna kill you on
Yes.
All right, guys, let's get to some fresh squeezed juice. We start with a little sound full. Listen to this.
Here we go.
Oh, that
Sounds
noise is
familiar,
so
that
annoying.
noise. So that's all Chrissy Teigen heard for hours after she accidentally shared her email on social media. Her
What?
fans started blowing up her FaceTime or emails. Some got through, but mostly Teigen just went ahead and waited them out. How did she? She's
How did
such a
she
social media- I don't think-
accidentally do
I feel
that?
like this was a stunt because she's way too savvy on social media to have accidentally.
I don't know. It happens to the best of us. You never know. I mean, especially in the way that like information gets leaked these days. Like, imagine some data dump had her email address and it ended up. I could think of ways in which this could have become public. I don't. What was the nature of the accident that she released it? Did she
No,
like,
I don't
tweet it out or
know.
something?
I have
We saw
no
the
no
Twitter
idea.
page there.
I'll
Yeah.
have to find out. Oh, she
doesn't really say
Alicia
how she
Cordy says she
accidentally
doesn't
did
say
it.
how she accidentally did it. You know, but I'll be honest though, when people find out that they can do something like this, they're gonna do it.
Oh, for
So
sure.
like, here's an example on a very local, like small level in comparison to what Chrissy Teigen's dealing with. We do a show called Cardinals Locker Room on Sunday nights, right after Sunday Night Football. We have the Text Team 12 number as a part of the show. We want your game day reaction. Text us 602-444-1212. Last year when we debuted that feature, week 2 we learned we had to tell them don't call that number. Because people treated it like a talk radio show. That's also our newsroom number
Our newsroom
upstairs.
was below.
So it was just phones, calls for hours, and it never stopped. And the guys upstairs are like, tell the people to stop calling.
Text.
But like, if you give a phone number
Yeah.
and people actually, like Chrissy Teigen's number,
Call
well,
in.
hell, I'm gonna give it a call. Like,
Yeah.
I would too.
I would
don't blame you.
definitely be tempted. Yeah.
to see if she picks up.
Yeah, just see if she would pick up. FaceTime
But what
would
if
be
it
the
was like a
best.
stunt, like a publicity stunt, and then she does pick up because it's part, like maybe
Because
it's
what
a
was it?
recording.
That
Didn't we
would
do
be
a
It was
smart.
another
Who
one.
did that? What actress? Somebody did
Washington.
that recently.
Denzel
Kerry
Washington?
Washington.
Kerry Washington.
Okay.
From Scandal.
Slightly different.
Yes. She gave out her phone number and people were calling, but it was really to join like a different group that she
tricked
was a
them.
part of. Yeah, but she's like, guys, this is my phone number, like on Instagram and social
Yeah.
media. And then everybody started calling. Emma called and to
Yeah,
check it out.
that's
and,
right.
And it was really just a link to
Sounds
something else.
familiar.
Yeah.
We've played this game before. I got a bunch of buddies that are in the journalism business, and so you come in contact with generally athletes, like high-profile athletes. You might have their number, their agent's phone number.
One of
Have you
their
ever
phone
played-
numbers?
Have you ever played? Yeah, right. Have you ever played that game where you're like, okay, who's the most famous person on your phone? Should we give them a call? Like that's a dangerous game.
Yeah.
I feel like those people change their numbers often too. Like I remember
Probably
we were
have
trying to
to.
get a hold of Larry Fitzgerald in Pyeongchang last year because he was at the Olympics. And we had a cell phone number, but I don't think it was his number.
You don't think so?
They rotate through them enough to keep people away, you know?
I have George Lopez's number from when I did the interview.
Let's give him a call.
No, I
up
so
to?
he was only because it was for networking purposes. But like, so I did reach out to him when I went to his comedy show recently. I'm like, hey, I'm going out to your show. He's like, cool. Let me know that when you're here to say hi. And I was like, oh, he responded back to me. Like it was legit his phone number. I'm like,
That's
this is
cool.
cool. Yeah.
I wonder at what point of celebrity you have to start big timing people. And you're just like, nah, I'm not going to answer that text or respond to that
Yeah.
call or whatever. Like there has to be a threshold at which you're like,
True.
I'm too cool for you now. I wonder when you get there.
I think it depends on the person because
Yeah.
I've met some people in local news who think that they're that level,
Right.
and then I've also, met people who actually are legit stars and they're the most down to earth people.
I think some people are just more overwhelmed by that sort of attention than others. Like I ignore phone calls all the time, but it's not a celebrity related reason. It's because I just don't.
I always think it's a telemarketer.
that too.
I
Yeah.
always think it's telemarketing.
I've been getting that text
usually is.
call scam.
Have you?
Like
Yeah.
all week. And it's like your taxes are suspended and you're going to lose everything. And I'm like, what is this talking about?
That might be true, but that is
No, it's not. It's
Don't
definitely
fall
a
for
scam.
it,
Yeah, and
Vanessa.
it's like put in your information. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
All right.
I'm gonna do that right now. so
Can
you
we
can
have your
my info.
social? No.
You ever read
Absolutely
those
not.
things online about like scamming the scammers? Like there are some people who like
Oh, I
whether
didn't
for
think of
sport or for an article or whatever will scam the scammers back. So they'll give them information and try to get them to send them money. And it's usually a good read. Go look that up. That'll be a good Wednesday read for you. Look up 409 Scamming the Scammers.
I like
we got to get going, guys.
Wait, we have to talk about it's National Cheeseburger Day.
Yes.
You know, I'm big on these holidays. We don't highlight them as much anymore in the show, but for the after show we should. So where would you guys get a burger today to celebrate?
I think we're going to Shake Shack.
Shake Shack?
In and out.
Yeah, I mean, In-N-Out is obviously a great answer. I heard Big Macs are $1. So, like, as much as I love In-N-Out and I adore Shake Shack,
Today, go for
buck.
$2 to double fist Big
Do
Macs.
not eat two.
Definitely getting two.
He's
Do
getting
not
two,
eat
for
two.
sure.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't even eat one.
He's switching up his Taco Bell for National Cheeseburger Day.
Not gonna
you
eat
know which one I
cheeseburgers
love
today.
that I
Where
haven't
you
been
go?
to in a while? Fuddruckers. Have you guys been to Fuddruckers?
Oh,
Fuddruckers.
not so in a long time.
Their buns
Make
are
your
so
own.
good.
Yeah.
I
They're
love it.
huge.
Last time I thought about Fuddruckers was like when you see like umpires arguing with managers and you're doing like the voiceovers, like, go to Fuddruckers, you! Try the ground chuck! Anyway, we gotta go. Seriously,
Yeah.
we're running out of time. Goodbye. Thanks for stopping by the after show. We'll do it again tomorrow, 7:30 sharp.
Is it too early for a cheeseburger?
Oh, it
Never.
sounds so good right
Never.
now.